Here we are, a time in which we are immersed in a worldwide pandemic that has clearly had a negative impact on the church. On Sunday, we found comfort in that beautiful Song of David, the 23rd Psalm, particularly verse 3. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He restores my soul. Restores my soul. I'm not sure when it will come, but I, for one, am more than ready for things to get back to where they were intended to be. Recovery and renewal. I mentioned on Sunday that third verse, the shepherd restores my soul, reminded me a bit of Jesus' parable of the lost sheep in Luke 15. What man of you, Jesus said, having 100 sheep, if he loses one of them, does not leave the 99 in the wilderness and go after the one which is lost until he finds it? And when he has found it, he lays it on his shoulders, rejoicing. This parable is actually one of a series of 3 parables in Luke 15 that teach essentially the same lesson. You have the parable of the lost sheep, the parable of the lost coin, and the parable of the lost or prodigal son. All 3 tell the story of losing something precious and then finding it. So it is a parable about the joy that comes when things are put back the way they were intended to be. It's the same basic story. So why did Jesus feel the need to tell it 3 times? I think it was a demonstration of his amazing skill as a communicator. Each of these 3 stories targets a completely different audience. First, the parable of the lost sheep would touch the hearts of men who lived in the world of tending sheep. They would recognize that sheep tend to stray, so they need a shepherd. They would recognize that a good shepherd accounted for every sheep. In fact, in the Old Testament books of Genesis, Exodus, and Amos, we find that if a shepherd lost a sheep, the shepherd was responsible for that sheep, unless they could prove that the sheep was killed, for example, by a predator animal. The men would understand the need to leave the flock to track down the stray. The parable of the lost sheep spoke deeply to men who understood sheep herding. The parable of the lost coin would touch women for whom that coin had significant meaning. It wasn't just a coin. Luke chapter 15, verse 8, we read the words of Jesus, "What woman, having 10 silver coins, if she loses one coin, does not light a lamp, sweep the house, and search carefully until she finds it? And when she has found it, she calls her friends and neighbors together, saying, 'Rejoice with me, for I have found the piece which I lost.'" The 10 silver coins, a Jewish woman would have understood. Warren Wiersbe, wonderful Bible teacher, wrote this about the coins. When a Jewish girl married, she began to wear a headband of 10 silver coins to signify that she was now a wife. It was the Jewish version of our modern wedding ring, and it would be considered a calamity for her to lose one of those coins. See the significance? The parable of the lost coin spoke deeply to women who clearly understood the significance of the coins. The parable of the lost son or prodigal son would touch parents who understood the love of a child. We are familiar with the beautiful story of the son who drifts, who wrecks his life, but then returns. We are familiar with the joy of a parent whose child comes home, no matter what. Now, I recognize that the point of these three parables relates to being really lost and then found, or to use the more common term, to be lost and then saved. But I love what Warren Wiersbe adds. To be lost also means being out of service. In that sense, these parables speak to us in our current situation. The Lord is anxious to restore us, the church. When the time is right, the Lord is anxious to restore us back to church, back to work for the kingdom, back to what we, the church, are intended to be. I look forward to that.